And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, David Friel. He says the defendant was the third member of his band, and the unstable and narcissistic guy abruptly quit, leaving them high and dry. When he left, he was stuck with the cost to record the album they were in the middle of making. He can't get the guy to pony up any money, and is suing here and now for the $5,000 he's owed. This is the defendant, Daniel Victor. He says it was the plaintiff alone who took it upon himself to record an album. He said he had the money to do it and was a business investment. As far as him quitting the band, it was more like they cut him out. Bottom line, the plaintiff's just mad he made an album and can't sell it. He's accused of letting the music die.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
In December, I made a simple request to him asking if he could become maybe a little more proficient at holding his liquor at band practice. He flew off the handle for 3 hours. I ended up quitting the band for 20 minutes because it became so irrational.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says his bandmate quit because he's a diva, and now the plaintiff is stuck with all of these album expenses because he can't make the album. But the defendant says the plaintiff decided to cut the album himself, and the defendant says he was cut out of the band. It's the case of band member on the run.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, David Friel, you are suing your former band member, Daniel Victor, for $5,000. You say your damages are actually more than that. That you say you're out as a result of him quitting your band. Tell me what's going on.
Well, Your Honor, the defendant and I used to play in a rock band together with one other person.
What was the name of the band?
Tight White Jeans.
Tight White Jeans?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so how long were you guys together?
For a total of about 2 years.
2 years. All right. And do you have day jobs?
We did. We actually had gotten laid off from our jobs.
Okay, so now everybody's got spare time. You join forces. You're playing when and how? You're playing what? Weekend gigs every day? What are you doing?
I mean, you know, we were just sort of a small-time local band.
Okay, so you play live where?
In Manhattan and Brooklyn, just at bars.
But at bars? Okay.
Yeah.
And would you get a good turnout? Was there a buzz? Did you think it was working out?
Not the kind of buzz we wanted.
Well, we never do, right?
I mean, on average, maybe we played in front of 15 people a night, so you know, we weren't destined to go on any stadium tours.
No, there were no stadium tours in the near horizon. Okay, so then what happens? You get the idea that you want to cut an album.
Right.
Okay, and tell me about that.
Okay, so I offered to finance the entire album, but we agreed that each one of us, Mr. Victor, myself, and our bandmate, Mr. Wood, would be responsible for 1/3 of the album.
Show me the contract where he agrees to pay 1/3 of the expenses to cut the album.
Well, it was actually a verbal agreement.
Okay, what do you say the verbal agreement was?
The agreement was that because no one had any money and Dave was fronting the money, that he would get a return on the investment first.
And then after he's paid, you guys would split a third of the benefits, the profits. That's accurate?
Right. Yes.
Okay. All right. And then what happens? So you guys, you put the money down, you go ahead and cut the album, and what happens? How many CDs do you order?
Well, we hadn't even released the album yet. So in May of last year, right after we finished the album, before we released it, we had a band meeting to strategize how to promote the album. And at that meeting, the defendant, out of nowhere, went into a rage.
Oh, rage over what? People don't go into a rage out of sometimes they go into a rage over things they shouldn't go into a rage over. It's not that big a deal, but there's always something.
Well, this was the third time in the previous 5 months the defendant's behavior almost imploded the band. In December, I made a simple request to him asking if he could become maybe a little more proficient at holding his liquor at band practice. He flew off the handle for 3 hours. I ended up quitting the band for 20 minutes because it became so irrational. Then finally, He apologized.
Where'd you go for the 20 minutes?
I think I went to the guy's room. I went up to the corner store.
Then you came back, and what?
I did, and he was he was completely contrite.
Okay, go on.
2 months later, he dropped the bombshell that he should make the majority of money from the album because he wrote all the songs, which is complete malarkey.
Okay.
And I have an email from our bandmate that supports my position. When we started this band, it was to be a collaborative band, all for one, one for all.
Okay.
Everything split evenly.
Okay. What was going on here according to you?
Dave and JD started gang up on me in the sense of like, I don't know what I'm doing because I've never released an album before. They said, I think you have an ego problem. I think you do things without asking us. They wrote a list of conditions in order for me to stay in the band. The email stated, which I do have, is they listed a number of conditions.
Let me see that email.
A number of conditions in which I needed to fulfill and agree to, which basically cut me out of most of the band making decisions. They said, just be quiet and basically play the songs.
Just stop talking and keep singing.
Basically, yes.
You were the lead singer, right?
Yeah, just
What did you play, Mr. Friel?
I'm the drummer.
The drummer. And did you also sing or no?
No, not at that time.
You do have a whole Mick Jagger thing going, right?
Do I?
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment.
I know. I meant it as a compliment. Your behavior totally sucked at our last meeting. Okay. Should have been a simple discussion about a CD baby account. Became a full-volume freakout about your skills as a graphic artist, which flowed non-stop into a diatribe about being disrespected, and continued on from there in progressively worse directions to the absolute insane point of your questioning Dave's commitment to you as a friend and person. To need anything less than to be sure that you fully own up. Are you willing to do that? Just so there's no confusion, moving forward means you'll let us know that you, 1, fully own up and apologize for the mess that night. 2, understand that it won't be tolerated anymore. 3, commit to making things better by being calm and professional. 4, agree to let us handle all the business stuff. Okay. Which is, I assume that 4 is the one that bothered you the most because it sort of belittled you as a child.
Well, yeah. I mean, it basically, if this is a 3-part endeavor and they're basically telling me not to be a part of it.
Okay. What ends up happening and why we're here is that he quits. When he gets this email and he says, I quit. Correct?
Correct.
All right, and then what happens?
Well, then we were left without our guitarist and lead singer. We couldn't play to promote
That's
the album.
unfortunate.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And so maybe everybody needs to, figure out that you've got $5,700 on the line and that maybe there shouldn't be an email that says, okay, you're not involved in any more business planning, plus you're a freak.
But, Your
and
Honor,
you freaked out, so you've got to promise not to freak out anymore, which could be true. But I'm just saying, sometimes we got to tread gingerly because we have $5,700 on the line.
Will the plaintiff get some Band-Aid to the 2 and 5 grand? Judge Willie on rules next.